just me. I just watched the one. I figured 10 years ago was good enough.
Not yet. Okay, go like this.
Right here?
Yeah. Now you can.
Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Welcome, all my friends, to Couch Pilots, the show that dares to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, a.k.a. the Bottle Cap Kid, a.k.a. her Black Captain. And across from me this evening is my buddy and yours, Captain Philip Restisher. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. It makes me so happy when you call me buddy.
Well, you are my buddy.
You call me your best friend. My own wife doesn't even do that.
You know, a lot of my time outside of this captain's chair is deciding who is my best friend. And honestly,
me.
Well, sometimes, sure.
Some.
It's just like the stock market. It goes up and down. I keep track of all my friends and all the things they do for me and all the things I do for them. And it really wanes almost daily who my best friend is.
So it's basically whoever you're with.
Today, right now, in these chairs, you're my best friend.
Nice. I'll take it. Winner.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I played hooky from work today because I wanted to wash the plane because we've got a special frequent flooring with us.
Yeah.
So I wanted to. I had to vacuum it out. I don't know where Tommy John was because I thought that he washed and waxed the plane and vacuumed it out, but he wasn't anywhere to be found.
He should. That's what he does. Like for a little extra scratch, just a little bit extra.
I hate to say this, but he has gradually been declining in his work.
Ever since he won that award for Tarmac Worker of the Year?
Yep.
He's been declining, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that one time he didn't even show up to work.
Yeah.
So, but I had one of those 9-volt battery shop vac things that won't suck up a quarter.
Mm-hmm. But we had so many potato chips, just like rogue potato chips around the plane.
Tons of them, and that's why I said don't take this plane and go. Take your girlfriends around and act cool.
He does like to do that. You ever notice that?
I'm talking about you.
Oh, busted.
Don't do it. This is only... We don't have enough money for gas.
Girls love it when I flash the wings and say, look...
Oh, I know.
They got access to this plane.
I get poontang all the time from it.
And what side of you?
On the left.
What about the right?
And on the right. But airplane fuel is up to $4.50 a gallon now, so we can't just be...
Okay, what about this? What if I just keep it on the ground... and then do a once around. I don't even fly. I don't even take it off the ground. I just take them through the plane, and I clean up my mess half the time. That's fair. Come on, that's fair. I don't even take it off the ground. No fuel used.
Are you getting laid when you take them on these flights?
Only if I get it off the ground.
Hey, what do you do once you get it up?
I bring it right back down. But you know what? That's all passé. These are things we should be talking about offline.
That's true.
But this is great banter. I'll give you that.
It's always great banter.
It's always great banter here on Couch Pilots. But
the 45 minutes you will wait before we start talking about an episode.
Ooh, the sweet sounds of Pepsi's Mountain Dew.
It's 6:16, so I'm officially not supposed to be drinking this because it's 16 minutes after 6.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Exactly. Cheers.
And cheers to you, old friend. And cheers to our new friend coming in the studio, someone who is one of many people who have claimed frequent flyer miles in this great game we call podcasting. Let's welcome to the show, please, Brian.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Welcome to the show, friend.
Well,
you have listened to the show off and on.
yes, I have.
And you got a hold of me and said, hey, anytime you need an extra person or you want to do it. And I was like, sure, let me check the pachinko machine.
Sure.
So I went to the pachinko machine.
Yep.
He was about 1,000 points below what we needed.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
But I was like, hey, I've known this guy for a few years.
Did you get him to... Did he help you clean the plane?
Yep.
That's how you earned the extra points?
Yep. He waxed it. I washed it. I waxed on.
Then what did he do?
He waxed off.
Yeah, I had like one of those brooms, like half a stick. You know,
Nice.
it was really short.
That's the way.
Like at the
season pro.
Like at the movie theater, those the brooms they have are only like half sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got to earn your keep. Well, I'm glad the pachinko machine said you only need 1,000 points, because usually it's 1,000 points that we give you if you help clean the plane, and
Nice.
done deal.
Whitewashed. He's good to go.
Awesome. So happy to have you here today. Before we take off, we're going to board first, but before we start, do you have any questions for us? Anything that you want to get out of the way? Maybe admit anything to us? Any sins?
I did listen to some Justin Bieber on the way over here. That's probably one of my most heinous sins.
Now, what is that?
It's one of those. I think he's a rap artist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
I love hip-hop.
Hip hop is great. It really is.
You'll have to burn me a copy of that Dustin Bieber. I'd love to hear it.
Dustin, yeah,
Brian plays the drums.
yeah.
So
He does?
I'm a drummer.
Oh.
So I figure we're going to have a lot of good rhythm during this flight.
Yeah, help us
it's
keep the beat,
possible.
won't you?
It's possible. Yes, I will.
All right, let's board.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
So you're listening to Couch Pilots, everyone. Everyone with earbuds in their face. You're listening to Couch Pilots, the only show that has the guts to watch television shows that had one and only one episode due to terrible. But not only do we watch them, we break them down, lay them down, so you get the inside scoop. They're out there. So much content is just floating in the ether, and it's up to us to try to pick it out of the sky like so much delicious red apple.
Right. My wife's like, hey, do you want to go to the movies tonight? I'm like, no.
No.
She's like, hey, let's go out to dinner. Let's have a date night. No, I don't have time.
No.
I have a job. I have a responsibility to help people like Brian here and watch horrible pilots and then report on them. We're kind of like reporters.
We are like we're like Woodward from what was that Watergate. We're going deep cover.
Deep cover.
You have a passion for this too, though. All right, I mean, you're making it sound like it's all business, but you do have a love for failed pilots, right? Blake, tell me.
I have a love for podcasting, and I've grown to get amusement from failed pilots.
I'll take it.
Again, I'll remind listeners, my original plan and my original idea was to do a podcast about the Golden Girls.
No one wants that.
I don't.
No? That's the greatest.
You're with me because he is genuine when he says that he loves Golden Girls.
I have seen a lot of his posts on Facebook, and there are indeed way too many Golden Girls.
Girls heavy on your post.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite? Blanche. I'm gonna guess.
I love them all.
But for different reasons, I would imagine. Blanche because she's a whore.
Right. Just love the horrors.
Estelle Getty because she's got sass for days.
Oh, yeah, because just like my Italian grandma.
Yeah, oh, okay. And what about Betty White?
I liked her, but I felt bad for her all the time.
Because she was the punching bag of the group?
Yeah. But she had, a little known fact, interesting fact, if I may.
Please.
Is she had very large breasts. So a lot of her outfits and blouses were big over the front to cover up her large breasts.
Why would they want to cover them up? Show them off.
They didn't want that to be a focal point.
How did you find that out? Did you Google Betty White breasts?
I just know a lot about Golden Girls.
I can see that of the demographic that would watch that show, minus Blake here.
They don't really
Okay.
care that they're big, but yeah.
And then,
I loved them all.
And then why did you love Maude?
Just because she was so manly. She was so manly.
Very nearly a man.
Very manly, yes.
Very manly. And I was just amazed that you never saw the stove. Now, there was only a few episodes where you could see where the stove was off camera. But they had all this counter space behind them. They had an island in the middle of their kitchen, but yet there was no stove. But the stove was actually, if you're looking at it, if they were sitting at the table and you were looking at it, the stove is off camera to the right, which there's no way when they built that house that they would have just left it out there on their own.
Good to know.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's very amusing to me. We're not discussing. That's done. Let us close the book on Golden Girls for at least another 40 episodes and say today that we discussed the pilot episode of L.A. Confidential from the year of our Lord, 2003. Great year.
Great year. It was a good year for the Roses.
Now, what does that mean?
Well, we'll find out later on why it was a good year for the Roses.
In that year, I was 22 years old, 2003.
Okay.
Brian, how old were you?
Older than you. We'll
Fair
put
enough.
it that way.
Fair enough. Okay.
You said you were 23?
22.
22, so I was 28.
Just by the transitive property of 6.
Sure, unless you're screwing me again. Because a couple episodes ago you screwed me and you did the math all wrong.
Here's the thing. From the 90s on, I've been going in order by year. I've been searching out shows so we can do it in chronological order. I hadn't found one for 1998 yet, and I already announced that we're doing the one for 99, so it really screwed me up. That little turnabout really screwed me up, and I genuinely thought I was right. You were right. I bow down to the mathematical master. I apologize to you.
Well, I've got the pachinko machine right here.
I know, and that's all the more reason for me to apologize. It's almost like spitting in the face of Al Pacino himself.
Don't spit in the face. You like spit over his head. He's so short.
What was your Al Pacino impression again?
Hooah!
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
No, that's not. No, that's not.
Well, no. Okay, all right.
I'm driving this car.
I'm driving Miss Daisy over here.
Hooah!
Brian, you got one?
No,
Come on, Brian.
I am horrible at impressions.
2003.
So basically, Brian was saying that our impressions that we just did were awesome because he's like, mine are horrible compared to those amazing
Compared
ones.
to me, yes.
What are some of the highlights in popular culture? Let's get a sense of 2003.
Okay.
You know, when I think about 2003, I'm like, that wasn't that long ago, but it's creeping. It's like 13, 14 years ago at this point. So let's put our minds back in that year.
Okay, let's go back.
The United States Department of Homeland Security officially begins operation. This is the new America we're talking about here.
That's because of 9/11, right?
The events of, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not just because the calendar was September 11th, but because of the events that happened on that day.
What happened?
Is a plane crashes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But you're not aware of this? I'll send you a blue link later.
I just thought, I wasn't sure if that's why we had Homeland Security.
What else happened on September 11th that you thought may have been the reason for Homeland Security?
Well, I thought there was probably a big shipment of heroin that came into the United States from Colombia.
Completely reasonable to think.
And they found it, and they got, I think, 20,000 tons.
That's quite a few tons of heroin. And I will say that heroin has come up recently on this show. And I have to ask Brian.
Yeah.
Heroin? Question mark?
Not today, or in the last hour at least.
Oh, wow.
Good on you, buddy.
Will you pee into this cup?
Yeah.
That's my next question.
Here's your chip.
United States plans for an invasion of Iraq due to imminent threat from weapons of mass destruction. That didn't happen. The destruction part, where they had the weapons.
Did we ever find the weapons? Did they actually have? I mean, we're not a political show. That's not one of our.
No,
that's not one of our staples.
No,
we're not about that. But did they ever actually? They didn't actually find any weapons.
No, they called them WMDs.
WMDs.
Isn't that a channel on TV?
I think there's another letter in there.
The
WMBDs.
Yes.
WMBD. Little Howard Stern.
Little Howard Stern action.
WMBD.
Little private parts for you. I can dig it. It's people probably thinking, "Oh, wow, that is so funny." How long did it take them to write that? And you know what, ladies and gentlemen,
Off the cuff.
right off. Well done. No WMDs. None. But we fought them anyway. Why did we go to war? You think?
Oil.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yep.
Ryan, oil,
Oil.
heroin,
I put some in my car the other day.
and hopefully not in the gas tank.
No.
Where the oil goes.
Where the oil goes.
Do you change your own oil?
I do not.
Me neither.
I do.
No.
I don't look like it, but I totally can do it.
Do you just not change it until you need to just put some in it?
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Generally, I'm like, why is my car running so sluggishly? And I check it, and yeah.
No filters are changed whatsoever. It's just a constant flow of oil before it's burnt off.
It's one of those things where you have one of those cars that you just put a case of oil in the trunk. So you just like every time you go to somebody's house, you have to before you leave, you got to put oil in.
Let's go, man. Let's go. Hold on.
Hey, buddy, can I borrow your funnel?
That's the oil.
That's pretty good.
Well, that was very good.
Lance Armstrong wins his 5th Tour de France.
With one
Number
testicle.
Honestly, let's talk about that because I was thinking about that. One testicle, it'd make you more aerodynamic, right? He had a nut up on everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have to he wasn't uncomfortable on the seat because those seats are very hard. They're
Right.
small. When
It could go either way.
right, he could just like if he got tired of having it on one side, he could just lift his butt up and slide it over to the other side and get down.
Yeah.
So he would go up and go back down.
Bring it back down. Who would do the stuff in the middle?
Sheryl Crow.
Very good. Very good. But yeah, I think the pendulous swing of the nutsack would really put someone off kilter. But if you lessen that by one ball, that's less pendulous swinging.
Yeah, no testicular ricocheting.
Ooh,
Very good, man.
good.
If we named these episodes something other than the name of the show we're doing, it would be testicular, whatever you said.
Ricochet.
Very
yes.
good. I like that quite a bit. Americans renamed French fries to Freedom Fries in protest of France's stand on Iraq.
Don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't.
I still call them French fries.
Not ringing a bell.
They say, "Oh, I'm going to put some French doors on the back of this balcony." They call them freedom doors. That's stupid. Hey, you know what? Don't make sure to pick up some maple syrup at the store. I want to get some freedom toast.
And
I'm
this
gonna
is
go pick up some freedom whores.
yeah.
Stinky freedom
Seeking
whores.
freedom. But this is like probably like before like Facebook was really like taking off. How did they get together to say, hey, it's probably just 3 people. It was probably 3 people who said, hey, we're freedom, everything, freedom toast.
How did things happen before Facebook?
I don't know. And I still don't understand how you even make it through the day.
Me personally?
You miss so much stuff in my life. You don't even know what Pokemon Goes I got this week.
Oh no.
Let me ask you this: How many men have you kissed on the mouth besides me?
You, Brett Conlon.
Oh, that's good company. I'll take that. I don't need to be on Facebook to be knee deep in your life.
There's probably 3. Probably 3.
3 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't need Facebook for that. I want physical interaction with you. I want
Brian,
to
how
see
many,
your face.
how many guys have you kissed on the lips? Your wife's not listening. Don't worry. If we've learned anything, wives don't listen to these episodes.
Also, kiss me on the mouth right now.
I think then there were some nights where I was kind of blackout.
Sure, on the heroin.
Yeah.
On the heroin.
Yeah, and heroin.
Well, yeah, you get pretty crazy on the dust. I mean,
I always found it interesting about heroin is it seemed like such a tedious thing to prepare, and as soon as you put it in your vein, you just fall down and pass out. So you spend like 45 minutes.
It's like cooking, right?
Right.
Because you eat in 5 minutes, and then you got all these dishes, and it's been an hour and a half before, like sautéing and marinating and all
Yeah.
this shit. Oh boy.
Give me a empty aluminum can and some weed. I'm good to go.
But you could also snort heroin, right, and smoke
Well,
it
back
too.
then you couldn't. They didn't know. You had to cook it back then.
Welcome back to Heroin Cast. This is Jason.
I'm so itchy.
Anyway, freedom fries, that's stupid, and you suck for whoever did that. I like France.
I agree.
I'll eat a snail, I don't care. Kiko the orca, made famous by the Free Willy movies, dies.
Didn't we just announce not too long ago that he got sent back to Iceland?
I didn't know he
I don't think
died.
they sent him back to Iceland as much as they just released him back into the wild.
In Iceland.
He may have made a beeline for Iceland.
Didn't
I
he
don't know.
jump over the boy and
Yeah.
then he was gone
He
out
jumped
in the
right
water?
over that
I thought
boy.
after that the movies were done and he was gone.
Did you know that?
He's like, my contract's up.
Yep.
No, he jumped into a big net where they had to, because they wanted to get the perfect shot, so they had to do it a couple times. You ever watch that? And the kid's looking up, and you see that big whale cock flopping around in front of you.
No, I don't. In my house, we don't look or talk about whalecock.
Well, you are missing out, my friend. And what website am I using that discusses Free Willy so much anyway?
I swear.
You're right. No, you're absolutely right.
Like, you know what? We've had you in captivity. We've used you to make money. We're going to send you back to your home in Iceland. Oh, where as soon as our boat leaves, you get ate by a fucking shark because you don't know how to live in the wild anymore.
They see that his dorsal fin going up, just slumped over to the side, and they're like, easy pickings.
Right. Noob.
All right, that's it for 2003.
Okay.
I'm looking at you guys. I see like frosted tips in the hair. I'm seeing Backstreet Boys CDs. I feel like you really have integrated back into that time frame. I think it's time to move on.
Oh, you do want to hear the story? I had tips, and I had a really.
Did you really?
I had a really over tan because I was dating a girl who liked to go tanning, and so that's one of the things we did together. We went to the gas station down by the marina,
Yeah.
Okay.
down there by Jonah's.
That really big one?
Yeah.
It used to have a
Tanning beds in there?
tanning beds in there, and just in like a month of dating this girl, like I was like you would have thought I was from a tribe in southern.
On the Dark Continent?
Yeah. And I had dyed, I had
And
dyed my hair.
both of those things were a result from this girl.
Right. And she ended up being a big, huge coke head.
Oh, that's weird. Huh.
Yeah, it was weird. She was...
Took control of your life.
No.
Let me ask you this. I used to date a
She
girl.
took control of my life.
Oh, come on. She turned your skin a different color and your hair.
Well, no, the hair was probably just me.
I dated a girl once who worked at a tanning salon, and she used to have to go in there and wipe down the beds. And the guys sometimes would...
Jerk off?
Right. Did you ever do anything sexual with her in the bed since you're both tanning?
I always try to be honest in this show because I think it's really important.
Honesty
But
is the
on
best
this
policy.
one, I'm going to lie. No, I never did anything with her in one of those.
You know what, Brian? He prefaced that by saying that he was lying.
He
And
did.
then he said no.
He did.
So it means he did do something, but he's not willing to share it. What do you think about that?
I don't know.
Follow-
I think it would be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
Well, the bed wasn't on. That's.
But I certainly wouldn't lie about it. I'd
If you had done it, you would be honest.
I would be honest about it.
He's an honest guy. I can see it.
Yep.
Blake, why did we choose LA Confidential?
3 reasons.
Count them down from 1.
We could find it. It was free, and it was a failed pilot that never made the series. And those are the 3 things that we need to
Go forward.
go forward.
That is true. I actually lost the link that you sent me, Blake, and I was able to find it on my own.
That's dangerous
Really?
territory.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
didn't? Did
Yes.
Was it a blue link?
It was not a blue.
Oh,
link.
jeez, Brian.
I just went on YouTube and I typed it in, and man, it popped right up.
You are playing with fire,
Yep.
my friend.
Yes.
You want those blue links.
Got to use a blue link. So as safe as links are.
We prepare them specially for our frequent flyers to be wary of any viruses out there.
And there's plenty of viruses in this world.
Everyone's
are.
trying to get
There
you.
are.
So where can you find LA Confidential? Don't do what Brian did. Take a lesson from us.
Yeah. Let me be the whipping boy on that one. Yeah.
I'm concerned that you might have a virus on your laptop. Is that why you brought it with you?
It's possible, but I actually used my desktop for that one.
Oh boy, you have to wave like a rare earth magnet in front of it to scramble it.
Well, I did run that adware afterwards, and it
luck.
deleted a couple cookies. I don't know.
It does. It deleted a couple cookies, like all my wedding photos.
Yeah.
Well, you can find the entire episode of LA Confidential by subscribing to Couch Pilots on iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes. Or if you want to go down that dark alley that is the virus-ridden internet, you can go to dailymotion.com and search LA Confidential.
Jeez, Brian, why didn't you just get your leather jacket on, your leather chaps, and just drive up on your Harley? You're such an outlaw.
I know.
Bareback and whores. That's what it is.
Freedom whores.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
Hold on to your cup.
Hold on to your butts.
Seymour?
Hey, John. Take it easy, buddy. Oh, he's really going nuts with those cones.
Like he was almost like he was signaling us for us to come back.
Yeah, like something's really, something's really wrong with the plane, and we should have taken off.
I forgot to plug that phone back in. Ever since we got that phone call from that frequent flyer,
Yeah,
I didn't plug the phone back in. So if he's trying to get a hold of us,
Conrad.
yeah,
Yeah. Summary of the pilot.
do it. Brian, this is where we read the summary of the pilot, kind of give you an idea of what the show is about.
Good, because I have no idea.
No, that's a problem. As corruption grows in 1950s LA, 3 policemen, one straight-laced, one brutal, and one sleazy, investigate a series of murders with their own brand of justice.
Justice.
Hmm.
Freedom justice.
Freedom
Sounded
justice.
good.
Thank you.
It does sound good, right? 1950s LA.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of the loose days of Hollywood. Everyone's doing drugs. Everyone's glitz and
Making
glamour,
money.
dirty back alley deals.
Yeah, seedy underbelly type stuff going
Ripe,
on.
ripe for story.
Corrupt police.
Yeah, I like that.
Prostitutes.
What?
Actresses who just want to roll in your film.
Yeah, they'll do anything.
Big, huge Coupe de Villes.
Love Coupe de
Big
Villes.
suits. Big, huge suits,
Yeah.
but the tie's really short.
You talking about zoot suits?
Well, no, not. But they were really big suits. Big pads, shoulder pads. But I wouldn't say zoot suit. Right?
Big hair.
Big hair?
The girls had big hair, yeah.
Guys had their greased hair.
Keep their opiate pipes in their pockets.
Yeah.
Is that where you keep yours?
I don't want to lose it. You know how much that cost me?
How much?
Like $8.
For an opiate pipe?
Yeah, it was pretty cheap. Interesting facts.
Ooh.
It always spooks you. And you know, it's silly because, again, we've done this about 40 times, and you know this segment is coming, but every time it spooks you.
It's like walking on hot coals.
I'm a pretty docile creature. But
You look very nice.
Thank you. A dapper creature as well.
Oh.
But when you start messing around with interesting facts, start giving your opinions, you see a different side of me. And I would be scared too if I were you. So I get it. I get why you're nervous when this segment comes.
Because you're like a loaded gun in Dallas.
It's
Jesus. It's a month from now. It's not even going to be relevant.
It's like
That joke is not even going to be relevant.
the mass shootings. They're always relevant in these United States. You know what we do? We'll come back later when this is released and we'll dub it over with a different city because by then there'll be one that just happened.
Right.
Freaking U.S.
Brian, interesting facts. You obviously have listened to the show a number of times. You know the rules. We don't really have to go over it with you. Just keep your opinions to yourself. Okay?
Okay.
Because you do have a parachute on.
Yeah.
And that's for one reason only. Not because
Wait a minute. Who packed my chute?
DSJ.
Jason.
Me.
No?
I think maybe we ought to switch.
It's full of pots and pans.
It felt kind of heavy.
But anyway, that is not because if something happens to the plane. That's if you interrupt the interesting facts and give your opinion, we'll push a lever, you're gone.
Duly noted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mom's a word.
All right.
Yeah, these facts, they will enrich you as
You
a
can
person.
talk about them, just don't give us your opinion.
Okay.
Totally. Based on the novel by James Elroy.
Daughter Judy? Jane, his wife?
He had a robot dog. Or was
Oh,
it?
it was a robot maid.
Okay, and the dog was a real dog. But he had a
Pluto.
He had a space collar, right?
Of course. Why wouldn't you have a space? If you're a space dog, you're going to have a space collar.
It'd be silly otherwise.
It wouldn't make sense at all.
I think L.A. Confidential was the third novel by James Elroy, and the fourth one was called White Jazz, which is almost white jizz to me. It could have been white jizz just as
Pretty
easily.
close.
White jazz seems to me to be like a contradiction. Mm-hmm. How many white jazz players do you know? Brian, you're a musician.
Yeah.
Do you play a lot of jazz?
I don't, but my dad did.
Was he white?
He was.
He just doesn't play anymore, or he's gone.
He's not white anymore.
He's now white.
No.
He's dating Blake's ex-girlfriend. He spent a lot of time in the tanning booth
He was white though. Yes. Yeah.
in his heyday.
No. Yeah. I don't know too many
White guys play
jazz
that?
players.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they
My
almost made
dad's
a
kind of
movie.
jazz was a little different. It was just him and an organ player.
like
And
acid jazz,
it was
maybe?
It was like jazz meets hockey rink music. It was
Yeah.
really kind of weird.
All right.
Wow.
I like that.
More lounge club music.
Sports jazz.
You know?
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun,
Kind of.
Just like
Something like that. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
They almost made a movie from the fourth book, White Jazz, with Clooney.
that.
George Clooney almost was in that one.
He was probably too busy with one of the 7,000 girls he was doing.
Yeah. It was filmed in 1999 and originally set to be released in 2000, but remained unreleased until 2003.
So you're telling me that it was 4 years from the time that it was shot. So technically, it could have been in season 3 if they would have hurried up and got it done.
If they would have done that, but it does not qualify.
Right.
But you're absolutely right. What was the other one? The Nerd? Was that on the shelf for like 6 or 7 years?
Yeah.
That's so
Wow.
weird. And same thing with like Mason. Was that on the shelf for like 2 years?
Yep, but it wasn't Mason's fault. why it got
No,
canceled.
nothing was his fault. He was just a boy.
Let's just close the book on that.
Let's take this time to close the book on Mason Reese once and for all. Aired on September 3rd, 2003 on Trio. It finally aired as part of a long marathon of similar bankrupt and canceled projects.
That was like the one we watched.
Look well.
Look well. It was on the same channel in the same marathon.
I don't think Trio exists anymore, or maybe has morphed into a different name of a station.
Well,
But
obviously you would run out of things. I mean, you can't.
I don't think that was their only thing they did, though. I think that was just kind of a special thing they
Yeah.
would do.
Do you remember Trio? The
Well,
channel?
when I watched it today, that was what it was.
All the
on.
commercials were
it
buffered
was,
with
It was
that.
all Trio, and it was like a weekend marathon of failed
Yep.
pilots.
I think the relationship we could have had with Trio, amazing.
Yeah,
we could have did huge things.
when was this aired, though? Like maybe 10 years ago, maybe on Trio, and now it's like, our paths didn't cross. Unfortunately, we're running parallel routes.
We were way before our time.
Absolutely, or way after. This was originally going to be a 13-part miniseries for HBO,
Jesus.
but negotiations broke down and HBO passed on the project. The pilot was then produced for the Fox network, but Fox did not pick up the show.
Fox, it seems to me in the aughts, Fox is really, really spending a lot of money on and not putting anything out on, because there's been numerous times that we've talked about Fox buying stuff and not putting it out in the aughts.
Yeah, I wonder what they were doing. Maybe they had so much money that they were just trying to stymie any growth anywhere else and just have it all for themselves.
I would say so. What's
funny here too is HBO, you can say whatever you want. You can't show penetration, but if you can get dirty, the show wasn't that dirty. Maybe they what? You're looking at me weird. I'm just saying, if it was originally made for HBO, you would have thought that the show would have been a lot dirtier.
I thought it was pretty dirty.
You think so? Okay.
Do you think it was pretty dirty, Brian? I mean, for network television?
For network, yeah. I mean, yeah, there was a couple scenes that
they
didn't really show anything, but I've
got an imagination. I got imagination. I got a boner.
Yeah, I can see where Blake would infer into the whole. Yeah, didn't see anything, but it was pretty erotic.
Yep, went upstairs and manipulated my wife while she slept. That's the way she likes it.
Just leave me out of it as much as possible.
Exactly.
Included as a special feature on the LA Confidential Blu-ray release. So from the film,
they put this on there.
Yep.
So we can own this.
You can own it.
We could go out and buy LA Confidential, the movie, the real movie, with this pilot on it as an extra.
Yep, and honestly, it would probably been a lot better quality than what we watched, but it wouldn't have been free.
We couldn't have done it. Technically, we couldn't have done it.
Absolutely.
If we followed the rules, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
You're absolutely right.
It wasn't bad until it hit full screen on my 23-inch, and then it was just like, whoa.
So pixelated. Yeah, I hear you.
Yep.
A sequel television series has been talked about as recently as 2013.
Wow.
So it's kind of out there. I think people, and I want to talk a little bit more about this later, but I think there's a blessing and a curse that comes with associating yourself with a property, an existing property. Sure. Sometimes it helps you, and sometimes it hurts you.
Sure.
And I don't know which. Maybe it hurt this one because obviously it only had one episode, but maybe it still carries enough weight to where they're bouncing around a possible sequel to TV. So who knows?
It was a very interesting time, like the 50s. People really liked that nostalgia when they watch films and stories.
That's when America was the greatest generation.
What is it now? Is America the greatest, Brian?
Well, I mean, I have hope for our great country, and I'm freaked out at the same time. There's a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, I live here, so I make the best of it.
That's what I would say if I moved to Bangkok.
Right.
All right, let's break down this pilot.
Okay.
Los Angeles, early 1950s. It opens up. There's a couple cops, including Kiefer Sutherland, who stars, out on a stakeout, following up on a hot tip.
Did you notice at the beginning it said Hollywood Land?
The sign used to say Hollywoodland back in the day.
Oh, did it?
Yep. And there's even a movie called Hollywoodland with Ben Affleck starring as George Reeves, who plays Superman. And that was back then. It was Hollywoodland.
Really?
Absolutely.
Blake's mind is just
seriously. I did not know that. That is an interesting fact.
That is very interesting to me, and I can say such because we're not in this section anymore. So I'm well within my rights to do so. They're waiting in the car. And it's like popping pills and drinking whiskey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of cops are these?
Normal stakeout routine for cops.
Okay. Like in the 90s, it was like hot dogs and pita bread and all that
pita
stuff.
Bread, love it.
A bunch of overweight cops sitting in a car. Sure. But in the 50s, you're popping some pills to stay awake and drinking some whiskey.
Yeah.
Brian, did they ever mention what type of pills they were? 'Cause I didn't catch that.
I didn't see. I just saw him kind of crush something up and then put it in his mouth.
It had to be
take a swig of whiskey, and I don't think they ever mentioned it though.
It had to have been like trucker speed or something, just because you're trying to stay
up.
awake.
Yeah, because at the time that the guy finally shows up, he says, "I've been waiting 3 hours for you."
He was 3 hours late, so they they had to wait a while. Yeah,
the drug deal goes bad. He's sitting in there with another guy who says, "Hey, I'm off the force in a few months. I'm going to retire. Let's take care of this thing." He says, "All right, you stay here. I'm going to go talk to him." And it's got it's like a pink heroin that the guy's touting, right? Yep. It's a rose-colored heroin.
Good day for the roses.
Good day for the rose heroin.
For the roses.
And they says, all right, well, here's the heroin, here's the money, and then a dude from out of nowhere shoots Jack. Which I got to ask, is it Jack Bauer from 24? Is this the same character from the 24 series?
He's just been around that long. Yeah, since the 1950s.
Many 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
He gets. You just see out of nowhere
A shadow.
and some guy pops up from behind a car window. And back then, those car windows were so huge, And he shoots him, and then Keith Sutherland draws his weapon, and there's another guy was just running by, and Keith Sutherland, all whiskeyed up and drugged up, shoots this guy that's running because obviously there's nobody else. It's
Right.
not the Mexican who ducked and rolled.
Yeah, he ducked and covered, got out of there with the money and the heroin.
Isn't it always?
Yep.
I mean, if you're a drug dealer and a drug deal's gone bad, you got to have the money and the dope.
And he had them both, didn't he?
That was fantastic timing too, by the way. The guy gets shot, and I mean, it was like perfect. Shut the trunk, reach down, pick up the stuff, and
It's
jump
all
in the car.
dark and shadows, and then he hit him. I can't believe he shot him.
It's as if he knew it was going to happen.
Right.
So Keith Sutherland says, "Pam, pam, 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 pam." This guy falls down, and his big tubby partner gets out of the car. He's like, "Oh shit," almost to retirement, 5 months to retirement. Goes out and they start looking. The guy doesn't have a weapon.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh shit!" Looks at his wallet. Oh man, the guy worked here on the night shift. Probably this guy doesn't have a gun. You smell like booze. We both smell like booze. We're fucked.
Yep. And why was that guy out there running around at that time anyway?
Yeah.
It's to his detriment. He's dead.
That's his own. It's his own fault. If you're going to the back alleys in the middle of the night on your way to work and you get shot, I don't feel sorry for
Blame
him.
no one but yourself.
Nope.
And he says, "You know what? I got 5 months. We have to frame this guy. We have to make it look like he was trying to shoot you, and then
Yep.
blame it on this guy, so we can both get off scot free rather."
Scotch,
Oh, that's what they were drinking.
probably.
They had Pepsi free back then, and they had Scotch free, and they were down in both of them in the car.
Is there scotch free?
I don't. I think it's free of Scotch.
Yeah. Oh.
It only has the aroma of. So they get out of there.
Yeah. So they drop the drop gun in the weed
Yep.
and frame them, and then they're out of there.
Yep, and it kind of from there on it really sets the tone for the rest of that episode, and perhaps the rest of the series had it survived because Kiefer Sutherland is guilt ridden
Sure.
from killing this innocent man.
Right. In the show, his name's Jack, and he is guilt ridden. So he starts like moonlighting, doing side jobs, doing shady stuff to get extra money to give this family. And for some reason, he just goes and drops it in their mailbox every once in a while. I'm sure that if I went to my mailbox a couple of times a month and there was a large sum of cash in it, I would probably hang out and try to watch my mailbox to
Right.
find out who it is. But no.
It's like she gets amnesia after every time she goes to the mailbox.
Right, it's like the Notebook. It's like the show The Notebook.
Because he's doing it, he's delivering the money secretly.
Sure.
But it's not that secretly.
No,
It's in the middle of the daytime and he puts
Yeah.
on sunglasses. He's like, that's some deep cover.
And
there.
he walks over to it and stands next to it and opens it up and shoves it, throws it in real quick and shuts it, and then doesn't run off. Just
No.
kind of turns around and
Casually
eh.
walks away. And while this is happening, and honestly, on a show like this, sometimes on sitcoms you can very quickly identify, oh, these are the main characters. I know what I'm supposed to do. But on a drama like this, it's a slow burn.
Sure.
And I never know who it is until towards the end. You're like, okay, these are the big players. But throughout the show, you've got Sid Hutchins. He's the head of Hush Hush magazine, and he's kind of narrating what's going on through
Sure.
parts of the show, including this part.
Is he the narrator?
He is the narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause he's
I'll
at-
keep my opinions to myself on that one.
No, you
No,
told,
no,
we're
no.
out of interesting facts. Please let him loose.
You're safe. Go ahead.
Open the
That's
floodgates.
why you're here.
I like that guy. I really like that guy. I liked him in Constantine. I liked him in this show. I did not like the narration. That was probably the worst thing that I did not like about this pilot.
So you recognize this character
Yes.
as an actor from other things
Yes,
you've seen.
yeah.
I recognized him from The Walking Dead. He was in a few episodes
Yeah,
of that.
yep.
You recognize him from there too?
Yep.
Yeah. I like this guy. And he's kind of a trashy, sleazy tabloid guy.
Right.
But he keeps track of a lot of this stuff, probably to use as leverage and to sell his magazine
Sure.
to people. And so he's keeping track of this, of what he deems as a dirty cop. And he's going to try to, later in the show and later down the series, I'm sure, would have leveraged that against the cop
Right.
to work together to get more subscribers and get more, inside photographs of crime scenes and that sort of thing. So he's narrating. And then it goes over to, they talk about the new IAD, the Internal Affairs Division.
Yep, that's when it was, and right when they started talking about this, they had a bunch of cops that were in watching like a a propaganda video, basically, that they
Yeah.
were going to show
Right.
about how the LA cops were going to clean up their act. One of the coolest things I saw in this whole show was the montage footage of the motorcycle
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
and like it was like
Basket weaving in.
yeah, they
I thought that was so dangerous.
It was so
yeah.
dangerous.
Unnecessary.
Synchronized motorcycle cops are my favorite, and with the Olympics coming up, really important to me that we do well this year.
It was seemingly so corrupt at the time, and so many murders and so much crime in L.A. Where do the cops have time to learn these choreographed routines? That's what I want to know.
Right.
I don't. I mean, we didn't get the answer to that, and I don't expect you guys to know.
Orson Welles, I think, probably had something to do with it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was amazing. They were real close to each other. Like they were.
Yeah.
Every other guy weaving in and out, highly dangerous. Something I've
Yeah.
seen in Barnum and Bailey's once or twice, but never from police
It's
officers.
like the Blue
Never.
Angels of motorbikes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Again, if we name these episodes anything but, you're right. You're 2 for 2. You're doing great.
So they're saying this
You're welcome.
IAD is being put in place to keep all the police officers honest, to clean up the department, so you at home, tax-paying citizens, can rest easy at night.
and feel safe.
Absolutely.
Did you notice that all the cops on this, except all the cops in this show, most of this part, they were all white except one.
Well, it's the 1950s, right?
What happened in the 50s?
Civil rights. 1950s and 60s, civil rights.
Civil rights.
Have you not heard of this?
Oh, is that where Captain America and Iron Man fought?
They're on. Essentially, they're on the same team,
Right.
but they were divided by a law that the government passed.
Huh.
And this it affects all the way back to when Steve Rogers was frozen still.
Yeah.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Build a snowman.
No, I don't, because it's summer.
Jack says to the captain, I want back on the narcotics to finish what I started with this Chinaman heroin.
Yeah, he's all about the rose.
It's
rose heroin. It's eating his brain.
It's fucked his mind
It's
because
caused-
that guy died.
caused him. Yep, he has a personal vendetta.
Yep.
Absolutely, he does.
Yeah. And they were right there.
Oh, they could have had him. They could have had a lead
right
there, gotten deeper. Nope, they got away. And then he gets stopped in the hall. But you're right.
Like a '50s version of the movie Blow.
I never saw that. It had Pee Wee Herman though, right? In it.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a black female cop
Yep,
at this point.
that's-
That caught my attention because I knew we're in the 1950s. I knew we're in L.A. I was like, this is a sea of white men. I mean, it would be funny to see a black woman who wasn't behind a typewriter, but a female cop who was black. I thought that was very odd.
I don't know. Was she a cop or was she just like a secretary that wore a uniform?
Maybe.
Brian?
I don't
She
know.
seemed pretty familiar with Jack, so
Who
I
isn't, though?
was thinking more like a social worker or something like that.
Okay,
Maybe.
she did present him with that kid. He said, "Hey, there's this kid here, and his mom works on the corners as a quote unquote waitress." He's like, "I'll take the kid out to lunch," and then after that, he goes in and inspects. But before that happens, there's a kind of a B storyline that they really don't spend a lot of time with, and that's they introduce this apartment complex that's full of young ladies
Yeah.
that are there to be. It seems to me like it's more of a brothel situation, but it's.
Well, I thought it was like a school for actresses. Is what I thought it was.
See, I thought it was
Yeah.
just like an apartment complex to house girls there who came to act. Did you see it more as a school situation, Brian?
No, not really. I mean, to me, it just seemed like a home for wayward girls. Come in from these country
all
bumpkin,
parts, yeah, looking
parts
to
of the
strike it
world.
big, the
wanting
silver
to,
screen.
wanting to be an actress.
Why don't
or-
we do that? Why don't we start a home for wayward girls?
Yeah,
No one's coming to Pekin to star in movies. But what is Pekin known for?
Ships.
meth heads.
Maybe we could start a home for wayward female meth heads.
I'm liking the idea. I'm willing to put my life savings, $37.23.
Methamphetamine, Breaking Bad, Anna Gunn. Anna Gunn is in this, who played Walter White's wife. Did you notice that?
No,
Wow.
but that was good.
No, that was a good lead-in.
Did you notice that too?
I did not notice.
Are you a
that.
Breaking Bad guy?
I have watched Breaking Bad. I'm not overly emphatic about it, but it is a good show.
I've seen one episode, every episode once. I'm not a huge guy, but I did notice that she was in it.
Yeah, you've been working out. You're not huge. Don't worry about it. So it's the first of the buxom blondes in this. Now, this is going to be very difficult for me later on because there's multiple buxom
If
blondes.
you take a look at every buxom blonde, your score,
be
Blake, for this
20.
would be like, easily 20 points.
But the first buxom blonde is introduced, and her name is Lynn Bracken.
Okay, yeah,
I think
sounds
this is what
right.
it is.
Lynn, definitely.
And she is the runner-up for Miss Arizona.
Yep, and she came here to be an actress. But I really feel like there's a dude in charge of this place who gets girls invitations to places, and it's all about just like dudes effing broads at parties is what it seems like. Just filling up parties with beautiful broads.
All right.
I may be wrong.
You may be right.
Jack, he
That was
goes
a musical reference, Brian. You should have followed me on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I thought you were going to start playing that. Yeah.
I was ready for you to sing the entire song.
I don't want. After listening to Hey Neighbor, I realize I sing too much.
Not at all. Not at all. Jack then goes to investigate this kid's mom.
Yeah, his mom told him to wait at the corner or something. She was going to get off work or something.
Something like that.
And it was a bad part of town that the mom told the kid to wait or something. And he walks in on the mother. He goes into this real shady apartment complex, knocks on the door, and nobody answers. Of course, he's a cop. What does he do? If somebody doesn't answer the door, he just busts it down.
The first of, I would say, 3 to 4 times Jack Bauer busts through doors.
Yeah. Yep.
He busts it, and the woman is dead. And very clearly from that rose heroin, which is like, and he's like, you know what? This is it, man. This is my lead. This is my way back into this case.
Yep.
I'm going to finish what I started, and I'm going to have some sort of resolution for the stock worker that died.
Did you guys hear a fly buzzing when he was in that room? Like she had been there a couple of days or something, and there was a fly buzzing?
Didn't notice.
Maybe that was just in my kitchen, but
could've been.
I wrote it down. I said, "Kid's mom dead, heroin or a fly, victim of the rose."
Victim of the rose. This next scene, internal affairs. And again, I have a tough time with names, but it turns out that guy's name was Edmund.
It was hard to keep up with the names. I usually do a really good job for the listeners. I want to make sure that they can stay on who's who. But there was so many people. There was so many characters coming in and out of this.
Enough times I heard Edmund. I finally wrote down and got it. He's the internal affairs guy. He's the guy there to keep the rest of the department clean and on the straight and narrow. He goes into the locker room, and he's been kind of following a few guys. And he's like, oh, this guy's taking bribes here. This guy's extorting here. And he goes in, he starts popping lockers in there, bussing dudes. And then they all kind of throw their dirty towels at him and kind of say, hey, here's my dirty laundry. Hey, take this. For some reason, there's a guy in there in the changing room with a camera snapping photos in the locker room. I thought it was odd.
Well, I think they were following dude around trying to get good press for the newly formed internal affairs department.
Good job.
It seems locker room seems a little maybe
I totally missed that. I would go as far as say high five it.
Yeah.
One,
high five it.
2,
Oh,
3.
all right.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that was a big one.
It was. That reverberated into my
I think
wrist.
there was a fly in there too.
So yeah, he's the next scene. Edmund again. He's at poolside getting it on with his lady.
Yeah, and this is where for me another buxom blonde. I'm gonna God,
completely disrobing her.
Yeah, and he was okay. This is why you said there wasn't much sex on it, but this was the first scene where I went, I probably wouldn't see this on Fox, but he basically was coercing his girlfriend or wife, into getting in the mood, and he goes down on her. Basically,
Yeah.
He goes muff diving at the poolside.
That's right.
Takes her panties off and everything, and I thought to myself,
Yeah.
this is where your boner's going to kick in if you're not careful. And guess what? Yep,
Swing.
Yep.
this is a dirty scene.
It was pretty dirty.
The next scene, Keith Sutherland, Jack pulls up, and he's going to go put some more money in the mailbox.
Yep.
Which Keith Sutherland, if you want to come by my house and do that, please,
No kidding.
feel free. He sees the wife and the child leave.
Yep.
And then right afterwards, they don't even get down the block. Some guy pulls up in a car and puts a for sale sign. And
He does a 180. He says, "What's this all about?"
he says, "Hey, what's going on with this house? Why is it for sale?" And the guy's like, "There's 6 payments behind. They owe $200."
Yeah, and honestly, I was like, "Hey, I could take care of that right now, probably."
Right. I was like, I will buy that house for $4,000. Let's do this.
No kidding.
I've been looking for a house, L.A. Why not? I can find a new job, right? How could I not find a job in L.A., right?
You're right.
Wonder how much that house goes for now.
Oh my god! Even the biggest piece of shit house out
Oh,
there. Is,
we watch a lot of those. Were they
Real estate
shows?
Yeah.
And you'd be amazed that it was like the size of this townhouse.
Yeah.
And it was like a block from the beach, and it was like $1.5 million. And I'm like,
God.
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's got a 1-bedroom, half bath, and a jacuzzi. I'm like,
It's all marble, though. You know?
Yeah, it's all it's new tiles, new tiling. That's a Italian tile.
So he's like, he's already formulating in his mind, what can I do to help save this family? I'm just a punk cop. I don't have a lot of money. I want to try to help them. And so he goes and he tries to sell his gold watch, and it doesn't get him hardly anything. And he's like, no, okay, I won't sell it. It's
Yeah,
like,
guys are like, no way.
Yeah.
I've helped you, but
not getting
that's
this.
too much. Yeah.
Nobody wants a gold watch.
No.
And then after that, Edmund, again, to go back to the internal affair guys, he's talking to the captain of the police force. And he's like, I'm going to put you on kind of I'm going to put you on a big celebrity case. We need some help.
A celebrity murder. Did he say a celebrity murder?
I don't know if I heard that. It ends up being Marilyn Monroe.
Right, but see, that's what I was like, I thought for sure he said murder, and so I felt like, oh, that's really what happened when, Marilyn Monroe, they set up this murder.
Mm. Well, we find that out later, but then it cuts back to the police station. So, you know what? There's a hostage situation of an elderly person who was being robbed. And then you got this guy, Bud White, who's a cop. Is this the first time he's introduced?
I think so.
I think so, yeah. Yep.
He's kind of the young guy in the force, and he sneaks through the side of the house, and then he's looking at the two guys there, and they're facing out front, and he sneaks in the back, and he sees them facing the cops, and one of the guys hits this older person, and he goes into a black and white flashback.
Yeah.
Something that he had witnessed as a child. I think his dad abused his mom, and the switch just gets flipped in him, and he runs out the door. He blasts some dude with a
Primal.
gun. But yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, and he just keeps punching this guy over and over and over
Takes him
again.
through a window.
And I was like, what is this? Orange is the new black? He just keeps punching this guy in the face.
He's seeing red at this point.
Oh.
He really is.
I saw red.
I saw red.
Thank you.
High five that one. That's happening.
Almost.
Wow.
There we go.
What an incredible high five.
That was something else.
The old woman is saved, and Bud White is declared a hero, so much so that the captain sits down with him and says, hey, you have quite a rage about you, son.
Right.
You're a very righteous man. I'd like to recruit you to my team of badasses.
Right, my special super secret badasses.
And he's like, yeah, I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
Would you be Brian? Would you be if the chief of police came and say, "Hey, I want you to be in my super secret badass group"? Basically, if we think the guy's guilty, we'll plant evidence. You can beat the hell out of because that's basically what he
Yeah, he
says.
says, we'll do whatever we have to do to get
If
put
you,
away.
I mean, would you do it?
Blake, I am a lover, not a fighter.
Oh, not me.
Yeah.
You would do it. You would totally do
So
it.
I would definitely do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because
Oh God, I would.
I'd be like, what's that guy? The funny guy in the 18 Face? Was he Face Man? Or no, he wasn't the funny guy. I would be that guy. The guy who didn't really ever
the
get into a
guy
lot
that
of
was
fights.
insane.
Yeah, I'd be the insane guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't
he's
really
the
do anything.
comic
Just
relief.
yeah.
That'd be me.
So the guy's like, "Yeah, I'll join your fucking crew. Let's do this. I'll anytime you need me, I'm there. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm there for you, Captain."
Yep.
And he's like, "Boom,
You're hired, son.
yeah." And he's like, "Anytime I call you, you got to come.
You got to run, baby, because we need you.
Even if you're sitting at the donut place in the middle of the afternoon working the beat. If I call you, or I don't know what they would do. There's no
Yeah.
cell phones.
No, right.
Bat
yeah.
signal.
Yeah, bat signal.
If I bet signal
but-
you, you come.
Yeah.
And you beat the hell out of whoever I want.
and he's like, yeah.
I'm
yeah.
in.
And then
he was
goes-
pumped about it.
Yeah.
He was pumped about it.
Yeah, and then he probably went down to Venice Beach and
Yeah.
Pumped up. Hell yeah. You think, I don't even know if that was around back then. Maybe
might not
Bud
have.
White was the first guy on Venice Beach working out.
it could have been. He might have started that.
It's a revolution. Jack, then, you see in the next scene, goes undercover, and he's hanging out at a bar, and he's talking to a whore, and he's like, hey, I'm looking for some booze. Or not booze, but the heroin.
Looking for a good time.
Yeah. He's looking. I think I'm looking to carry some weight, which is
Yeah.
slang for I want to put some drugs in my pocket that weigh something.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know that?
How did you know
Yeah.
that?
Because I use a lot of drugs.
Right. With his $8 pipe.
Ice Cube used to sing, I push rhymes like weight.
Oh,
Remember
okay.
that?
Yeah.
Remember when he would say that? He's talking about drugs.
I've heard of riding dirty before. I knew that's
Sure.
that means you have drugs in your car.
That's new slang. Anyway, he goes and he talks to this whore, and the whore was Anna Gunn from Breaking Bad, that
Yeah.
blonde girl. Another Buxom blonde.
Another Bucks and
Another
Blonde.
Buxom Blonde. Yeah.
Here's the thing. This was what was difficult for me. All right, by now I've already got a semi-wood anyway.
Right.
And she offers sex to him for $25,
Nice.
and I'm like, why wasn't I not alive in the 50s?
No kidding.
Let me clear out my bank account right now and travel back in time.
For $100, I could pay my mortgage and have 2 hookers a month.
Just thinking about it, I can tell Blake's gone from half chub to full chub.
Exactly. By this time, I am full chubbing it.
And he's like, "Hey, you know what? I don't want to bone you. I just want to get some sweet heroin action. Do you know where I can get it? I'm looking for this rose shit." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't know anything about it." And it's very clear
Right.
that she does.
At first, she's accommodating, and then as soon as he mentions the rose stuff, she's like, "Oh,
I gotta go.
Yeah. Get the hell out of
she
here.
don't even really say much of anything. She just like gets up and leaves the table.
So Jack's not having. He's too smart. He knows. And the next scene, you see her like shooting up or getting ready to use the very same heroin in question.
She was cooking.
She was cooking. That's right. How did how did you know that?
I watch a lot of TV. She gets the rubber band around the arm, and she's tapping her arm. She's cooking it on the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's ready to go.
Yep.
Again, time number 2, Jack busts through the door, boom, Kool-Aid Man style, comes in and says, "Hey, what's going on? I'm going to take you to jail. You have the intent to sell. You get away for a long time. Give me some goddamn information on this heroin."
Yeah, and
she does.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, well, I did a porn once, and they paid me with heroin." He's like, "Well, how did you get this?" She's like, "Well, I did a porn movie, and they paid me in heroin."
Mr. Paget, right?
And he totally plays her too. At first he comes in and he doesn't present like he's a cop yet.
Right.
He comes in and says, "Hey, tell me what you know." And she's like, "Dude, I can't. And then finally he flashes his badge and says, basically,
"How about jail forever? How's that sound?"
Basically, you're going to go to jail or you're going to tell me what you know.
That's exactly right. And so she kind of gives him some information, gets a little lead action, and then he goes. We go back to the apartment complex where all the young ladies are, and they're all talking about getting ready for this big party.
Mm-hmm.
So
and Lynn doesn't have she can't find her invitation.
He says,
luau.
With luau at it happens to be Mr. Paget's place where the other girl did the porno and the rose heroin. Everything's starting to come together for Jack.
Oh God, that guy would be such a cool best friend.
Oh, wouldn't he?
I would be like, Jason who?
Oh man. I'm keeping track of my best friends.
When I come over to your house, there is no hookers, there's no porn, there's no heroin.
Have you seen my house? How am I going to get a whore in there?
I got to take my shoes off just to walk in, let alone have sex with somebody on your couch.
I'm always there. So the woman says, "Hey, you don't need an invitation to this party. You're a hot broad.
Yep.
All you got to do is show up, and you're in."
She's in.
She's in like sexual Flynn.
Yes.
Edmund in the next
Is that
scene.
your Johnny Carson? In like a sexual Flynn.
I feel like there's a yak on my chest. Edmund in the next scene meets with Marilyn Monroe, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? I need help because this is a sex tape made," which actually turns out to be true. I think there was an actual sex tape made of her.
It was the girl that played Marilyn. It was a horrible Marilyn Monroe.
I was thinking that
awful.
too.
One of the worst.
Yeah. That was the first thing that popped in my mind. I'm like, this girl looks nothing like Marilyn.
Doesn't sound anything like it. Doesn't look anything like her. And if there is a sex tape, is it possible to find that? Or
You could find it right now.
Do the Kennedys have that?
The Kennedys have it under lock and key. Yeah. I think one key Maria Shriver has, and the other key is held by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and those two will never get together again.
Right,
so it may be lost to time.
Yeah.
But
R.I.P.
R.I.P. sex tape.
Unfortunately.
So they're like, "Yeah, I'll help you take care of this sex tape." And I don't think much happens out with the rest of the show. It's all setting up.
And like the guy is blackmailing her with it. And I'm under the impression the guy is blackmailing when he brings it to her house and shows her on a reel-to-reel on 35 millimeter.
Right.
It's like, let me take 20 minutes to set this up, and you'll be really disappointed with what I show you.
And she's like, I'll do anything, because that's what all girls do when you have something on them. They say, I'll do anything. Puts his hand on his shoulders, like, well, basically, you're going to fuck me, Marilyn Monroe.
That's right. God bless him.
More sex.
So, after that scene, they go back to the police station, and the guy Jack was trying to sell the gold watch to earlier, he's like, "Hey, you know what? If you're looking for cash, you can stake out some whores, you can shake down the whores and shake down the Johns, maybe get a little extra scratch." And Jack says, "You know what? I'm going to do that. That sounds like a good idea." But it turns out that he gets a lead from shaking down this whore.
Sure. And again, shaking down the whore, what does he do? He busts through
that goddamn door.
And this time when he busts through, I mean, he does some serious damage to the frame of that door.
Yeah.
Like this time you see see wood
like splinters off.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously like this time he hit it right. You know what I mean?
And by the way, this was another part of the show that was very, as Blake said, it was very risque for television.
It was. You're right.
You know, I mean, it was just blocked by the back bar of the bed. You know, I mean,
Yep.
she basically jumps up on top of him, and they're going at it.
Yeah,
you know?
talking dirty to the guy.
She's like, feel these tickle bitties.
Yeah.
Right when he's got his hands on him, that's when Jack busts in, ruins the party. They put their clothes on, unfortunately. I'd even take that old guy Schlongsen bar at this point. Give me something to work with. Anyway, he busts in, and he says, you beat it. And the guy's out there, and while he's talking to that girl, he's trying to start his car.
You hear the background. It's like a fly. It's like... And he's talking to the girl, and basically she's a whore, and he's like,
going through her purse.
Yeah,
Is what he ends up doing.
and he sees the invitation to the luau, and he's like,
Mr. Paget. He sees that name. He's like,
Yep.
ooh,
He's
click,
like,
click, click.
and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to take you to jail. You're going to be my date to this party. I want to meet.
Yep. She's like, I'll give you a handy Del Grande, whatever.
Oh
you
yeah,
want.
she was like, I'll fuck you right now.
No.
Yeah.
All I want to do
Nope.
is meet this guy.
And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, listen,
Just introduce me to him, and we are good to go.
I'm like,
I mean,
Keith Sutherland, listen, you've passed up sex a couple times now.
his negotiating skills are pretty bad. At this point.
You have the sex, then you negotiate,
Right,
and then
yeah.
you say, "Ha ha," on you,
Yeah,
stupid
yeah.
prostitute. Not, let's be legit on this beginning. No,
At this point, Kiefer Sutherland's sexuality is in question.
very much so.
Very much so.
But his knocking down doors, there's no doubt about it.
Oh no, he's aces there.
Yeah.
So then he goes outside to where the guy is. He's still trying to start his car, and Jack is so smart at this point. He says, "Oh, you trying to start that car? Here, you're going to need this right here. It's a little something. I don't know. He took an alternator
Spark
out
plug
of
or
it.
something.
Yeah. He's like, you're going to need this to start your car. How much is it worth to you? Give me 200 bones, or I'm telling your stupid wife."
Now,
And
is
give him
this
200
guy
bucks.
anybody? I mean,
I don't think so.
he's
Just a
rolling
random
around
John.
with $200 in his car back in
Which is a lot. You're right.
1950s.
He
it's
was-
a lot of money to roll around.
He was
with,
probably a car salesman or a real estate guy. Overweight. Probably been married for 20 years. And his wife was bitching at him all the time. He just wants to get some young poontang to the left of him, possibly to the right of him. So and he's always got to roll. He's rolling.
He said, "Give me." He said, "It'll cost you $200." And the guy
Just-
he doesn't
yep.
flinch. He
No.
immediately moves over to the passenger seat and gets the money.
Yeah, it works out for Jack. Yeah,
Very
I mean,
well.
moves the plot forward.
And
Yeah.
then the guy gets out of the car and goes back inside.
No, I think he was going to put
Yeah.
the spark plug back in.
I thought he was going back inside. He's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I paid $200.
Right.
I'm fucking
I'm
this girl.
I'm gonna get in something. Yeah,
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
On my rewrite, that's what happened.
right.
on my fan fiction, that's what happened.
Oh boy. Next scene, he takes out $200, throws it in the mailbox, sits up from afar, and watches them. It's like, oh my god, our prayers have been answered.
Save the house.
Absolutely. And then the next scene,
He doesn't even smile about it. Like still doesn't feel good. Like
They had the amnesia again because they come out and they open the mailbox, pull it out, and she calls the daughter out, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe
What's
this has happened to me."
Like it happens every month. What are you
Right,
talking
yeah,
about?
right.
What do you mean? What it is? So the next scene, the internal affair guys is at dinner, and it's kind of hinted throughout the show that his dad is kind of a bigwig within the police department or the city somewhere. He's like, oh, the only reason he got this job is because your dad. He's like, no, I'm a self-made man. I'm a self-made. But you can see kind of his dad at dinner, kind of pulling the strings and kind of even hitting on his wife a little.
that was the weirdest thing I wrote. Weird father-in-law sex hand.
Yeah.
Because he puts his hand and rubs her hand. I'm just like, this is weird shit.
It does not go unnoticed by Edmund either. He's like,
No.
oh, Jesus Christ,
My
Dad.
dad's trying to fuck my wife again.
Oh boy.
And he probably already was.
He probably already was. Then night falls. They arrive at the Paget party. Jack is there with the whore, and then he happens to run into Bud White, the cop from earlier, who saved the hostage woman, and she is there. The cop is there working as security at the party. He's moonlighting there, making some extra money, and then his date runs off, and she is there doing heroin at the party. She's just hanging out. She kind of already said, hey, here's the guy you want to meet. He's over there. Go talk to him. I'm going to go get high.
Right. I'm going to go get high. I'm going to show my boobies. I'm going to, get wild and crazy.
There's some bad dudes at this party.
And I'm thinking to myself, no, that's not what happens when you take heroin. You don't get on a table and just move your boobies around for everybody. You put it in your veins, and then you just fall over.
Right, yeah.
That's, I mean,
Like almost immediately.
I saw Train Spotters. I know what goes on.
Sure, yeah.
When you're doing heroin, you have to have a mattress. Even if it's on the floor, you got to have a mattress
With no sheet on it.
No, a spoon and a lighter and a rubber band. That's what heroin entails. There's no rubbing of the boobies and showing off to everybody.
I thought you had to have a sheet on it for when you crap the bed.
See, everyone I've seen is just a dirty, stained old mattress. Quilt optional.
You must be watching the high end ones.
High-end heroin.
Yeah.
The Sid Hutchins from earlier, the guy who's been kind of narrating the whole show and who is in charge of Hush Hush Magazine, then approaches Jack about maybe teaming up. Maybe saying, hey, buddy, you're in on some of these pretty hardcore cases. Give me a ring. I'll come down there, snap some shots. I'll make a little scratch. I'll send a little scratch your way. Everyone wins. And he's like, get the hell out of here. But he's like, hey, what about that dock worker you killed?
Right. He's like, I don't associate with trash or something.
Right.
And he's like, wait a minute. Look at that girl you came with. What do you call that?
Yeah, no kidding. She was garbage. So Sid kind of suggests that he knows about the dock worker. And again, just a lot of setup. You get a little bit of resolution here. You get a little bit, like you said, Brian, of the story moving forward. Yeah. But a lot of it's like, hey, I want to tune in next week and find out this thing.
Setting it up for future episodes.
Totally. So Jack looks for his date in the driveway, and then he finds a syringe on the ground, and he confronts Paget, played by the incomparable Eric Roberts.
Now, Eric Roberts, I don't know, and I'm hoping, Brian, maybe you know this one. I don't know if Jason knows, but Brian Roberts was in a movie, played the lead character, Eddie and the Cruisers.
Oh, did he really?
He was Eddie from Eddie and the Cruisers.
I didn't know that.
You ever seen Eddie and the Cruisers?
I have, yes.
Dark side's coming down, nothing is real. Hold on. She'll never know just how I feel.
Brian, this show is built on the back of
And out
singing.
of the shadow, she walks like a dream. Made me feel crazy, made me feel so mean.
I let him go until he's done.
Nothing's gonna save me from a love that's blind. Slip to the dark side across that line. Yeah. On the dark side. Yeah.
On the dark side.
I am gonna buy that on DVD because I was talking about that the other day. I was talking about that movie the other day, and it was a big deal. Like, when it came out, it was a big deal. The soundtrack was a big deal.
Yep.
And then they made Eddie and the Cruisers 2, and it was horrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
Was it Eric Roberts in that as well?
Yeah, I think he played because he was the ghost of. he was really alive. He was like the ghost.
Yeah, because at the end of the first one, he drives off the dock. Everyone thinks he's dead.
He's really alive,
but he's really alive in some backwater county.
They think he's a ghost, and they're looking for these demos.
Yeah,
we got to do a podcast sometime just about Eddie and the Cruisers and Eddie and the Cruisers. That was a good soundtrack. Am I right?
It was a good soundtrack. I did
high five
enjoy that one. Yes, definitely. Not even a weird one.
Couch Pilots presents
just a
Eddie and the
regular high
Cruisers?
five. Yeah,
I love that you had to say that he's not really a ghost. Like,
and then I said, spoiler alert for a movie from the 1980s.
Yeah.
Oh boy!
In case anyone hasn't seen any of the Cruisers 2 yet, and is raring to get out there and see it.
There's some poor bastard who's going, God damn it! I just ordered that from Amazon Prime.
It's on my queue. Damn it!
You pilots are assholes.
So Jack, he finds a syringe in the driveway while looking for his date. Mm-hmm. He goes up to Paget, the guy who's running the whole thing. It's Eric Roberts. He says, hey, I know what you're all about. I know you're behind all this shit. And Bud White, the guy from the running security who was the hero from earlier, he steps in and says, hey, you can't do this here. This is not you don't have enough. You got to get out of here. And then Bud, the next morning, Bud finds photos of Pat, the whore that Jack came there with, kind of out in the parking lot, kind of scattered about.
Because she had brought her portfolio because she was,
Oh, that's what that was. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, you knew that because in the front of it said Pat.
Yes.
And then you kind of see some shots of her being bound and gagged by the weirdos she's
sexy.
Yeah.
Blake's totally into it.
I was totally into that. I was like, now this is really getting to where I want to see.
Bucks and blondes,
tied up, crying. I love it.
Right at the 58-minute mark, boom, pump the brakes. To be continued, never to be continued.
Never.
Let's hear a promo from our good folks at S&M Radio.
Step right up, step right up. Are you a fan of the macabre? Do you enjoy blood and guts? Does gore get you excited? Is getting scared your thing? Do you like horror movies? Boy, oh boy, do we have the right show for you. S&M Radio is the best horror movie podcast on the web. Shannon and Mark discuss a different horror movie topic each episode. Some episodes are about specific horror movies. Some episodes are about folks involved with horror movies, while others are about top 10 lists of horror movie topics. All with great music from all genres. I should warn you right away, spoiler alert, those two yahoos pretty much give away everything every time. Come one, come all, down to S&M Radio, where nothing is too taboo.
Now available on iTunes.
Oh, God bless S&M Radio.
SNM. Now, there was another thing. I talked to him recently, and there was an issue.
This is Shannon Johnson who does S&M Radio.
Right. And that was originally S&M Radio. I'm going to go old school here. Started out as Shannon and my wife doing a podcast together. We just talked about stuff and played music. Now it's a full-fledged horror movie show, which is they know their horror. Shannon and his buddy Mark, they know their horror movies. They know a lot about horror movies. And there was some conflict because it was showing up as SNM and then S&M and other places. And he's got that all resolved, streamlined.
It's S space N.
S-N-M, all one.
Oh, S&M.
S&M.
Okay. No apostrophes in there, no spaces.
No.
All just S&M.
And you can find him on iTunes, allegedly, now, too.
Awesome.
Which he was having some copyright problems. But he said, fuck you, to the man.
Yeah.
And just reapplied.
Now, does Shannon have a friend for every letter of the alphabet, first letter of the name, that's into horror movies, and he specifically picked Mark because it went with the previous title of S&M, or was it all coincidence?
Maybe the guy's name's really not Mark. I don't know. I've never met the guy personally, so maybe his name's really not Mark. Maybe Shannon said, you know what, if you want to be on a horror movie show with me,
right?
I've already got the name. I've already got it branded. Your name's now Mark.
Change your name. Step up to the plate. Come correct.
You're so gangster talk. What is with that?
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
You have to get some WD-40 on that.
Yep.
It's really a nuisance.
Put some heroin in it.
LA Confidential. Why didn't this show work? Why didn't it work?
Brian, you want to start?
I don't even know where to go with it. It really wasn't a bad show. It really wasn't. I enjoyed it. I thought there was maybe some pacing issues. Seemed a little laggy at times, but other than that, I didn't think it was that bad. I'll put it this way: I've seen a lot worse than that.
Oh, yeah.
No, so have we.
Yeah, sure. And there's some good actors in it. I like Kiefer Sutherland. Okay, Eric Roberts. Although in the pilot he doesn't say. But
he's not there very much.
2 or 3 words, he's great. I like the guy that plays his partner in the beginning. He was the.
He's a known character.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Yes, he has.
Nothing where he was like the major player or anything. I mean, he was the chief in Rescue Me for a long time.
Was it? Oh, yeah. That's right. That was him, wasn't it?
Yes, that was him. He's always like the police officer or fire guy or gangster guy or something like. Sure. I mean, he's kind of typecast, but he's solid.
It'll get you work, right? You got him work here.
Yes. We're typecast all the time.
Yeah.
For me, the dialogue was very sophisticated, and which made it kind of drag at times. Yeah. And it was to me the dialogue was slow. There was a lot of fancy words maybe, and there were so many characters. It was hard to keep track of who was who. Now, at the beginning of it, when you read your summary, do you have that available to where you could click
summary?
Yeah.
Sure.
It describes 3 types of cops. Okay.
Pardon me. How embarrassing.
Seriously? I got to go edit that now.
I'm sorry, man. He's got a terrible cold. 1 straight-laced, 1 brutal, and 1 sleazy. Those are the 3 different guys.
So
let's break down who those guys were.
That was a concern of mine. Straight-laced, brutal, and sleazy. Brutal, obviously, was the
Bud White.
Bud White.
Yeah. Straight-laced, Edmund.
Okay, and so would you say that Jack was sleazy?
I mean, I wouldn't say that's exactly who he is. He did what he had to do.
He had a sleazy conscience. He was sleazy but had a conscience.
Yeah.
Or he had a conscience, so he had to be sleazy.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay.
Do we all agree those are the right people that fit the right?
Okay. I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, it was just the dialogue. It kind of slowed up the tempo. A lot of times we see on these long dramas, we see that there's a lot of characters, a lot of information going into one. I liked the storyline. I liked the whole setting of the 50s, you know, the bucks and blondes, you know, corruption, kind of like the Untouchables kind of thing. You know, it had that feel to it. So I dug that, and I dig murder.
Yeah.
I dig heroin.
Yeah.
I dig bucks and blondes.
Boy, this is we're on track for a high score for you. I'm so excited.
You know, so you know, it was just, but I did see the tempo at times was sluggish. And another thing, Keith Sutherland got shot in the arm.
Never really talk about it.
Never.
No.
He's not on a sling.
Nope.
No blood. No foul. It never again was even mentioned.
It looks like he was shot in the shoulder.
Yeah.
But then after that,
shot him in the shoulder.
I shot the shoulder.
But I did not shoot the femur bone. Sorry.
I feel like time passed after that.
Okay.
This guy who he's sitting with,
That's what
he
I thought.
retired. And you show him later just beat down and guilt-ridden over this, delivering money month after month. But you're right; they never really mentioned it again. They could have mentioned it even in passing.
But I got the same kind of feeling like some time had gone by.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I
I also thought a guy went back in to fuck the hooker. So
Right. Yeah.
smart money's on that. I would. I say this didn't work. I like a lot of it, like you're saying. I love that it's set in the 50s. I read a review where someone said, hey, it didn't look like it was set in the 50s. It didn't even matter. I was like, I disagree. I think they got it right. I think a lot of it looked pretty good. It fooled me, for whatever I know.
Yeah.
I like a lot of I like how it's intertwined with like sleazy Hollywood. I think there's a lot of very capable actors in this. Yeah. I think that was very good. The only thing I didn't like so much was that if it was made for HBO and put on Fox, kind of like we touched on earlier, I would like it to be a little dirtier.
Yeah.
Now I don't need to see a bunch of nipples flopping around, but let's use some real talk. You know, let's drop some F-bombs. Let's use some. Let's talk like people talk back then.
they're drunken on pills.
Sure. Yeah. Let's do that.
A lot of heroin addicts, they don't use good grammar. You know,
I don't.
when you use heroin.
No.
To me, it doesn't destroy the show, but I mean, if it's going to be made for HBO and it never aired on Fox, they would probably have to reshoot it. Because if it was made for HBO, it would have been grittier. It would have been dirtier.
Yeah.
What is called blood? Maybe a lot more blood.
But I think it could have been a little grittier. Personally, I did like a lot of it, but that's to me where it went wrong. If it had survived, and I like the idea of it being like a limited run series of 13 episodes.
Yeah.
I think you can draw something out too long. Why not have one kind of overarching case throughout the whole thing, and you got like a lot of shows do, and you got a lot of little stuff in between, working your way closer there.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see if it gone on. Any other thoughts, gentlemen?
I think we sealed it.
Let's take this in for a final descent.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
IMDb score 7.3. That's pretty high. That's based on 559 reviews.
Wow.
You can review, or you can put a rating on there without writing a review out.
Yeah.
There's only about 10 reviews, I think, from this. Actually, not even that. Quite a lot less. But out of all of that, 559. A lot of people have seen this, apparently.
Yeah.
Steve from Mystery File says the TV version is visually striking in color, but in terms of overall production values, I doubt that it holds up in the regard to the movie. Well, that's tough to do.
Yeah, TV and a motion picture. It's
Sure.
Here you're making a 13-hour movie, essentially,
right. Yeah.
and it's a pilot, so you don't necessarily have all the money backing you if we get the ball rolling. So that's, to me, it's apples and oranges, but I get what he's saying. Soothsayer.com says, other than trying to enjoy the pilot for what it was, the thing that bugged me the most was how the film was supposed to be set in the 50s, but not for a second did it feel like it. And again, I disagree with that.
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too.
I think they did a very
I
good
thought
job.
they came in with a real nice film noir kind of black gritty kind of feel right off the get go, and I didn't once not think, oh, this is contemporary. You know,
Right. I agree.
It was squarely in the 50s. Yeah.
That guy, Soothsayer.com gives it a 3 out of 5. Here's a viewer review, 10 out of 10 scars from Phase Mind from the United States of America. This is a great movie. The directing and photography, the acting, the story, the choice of the cast is wonderful. Kiefer is great. Low-key but cool. Melissa George does a great job. I like the acting of Bruno Angelico as the intriguing gangster, but also the girl playing the drug addict. These two intense roles are amazing and unusually acted. This is film quality to TV. It is really too bad that Fox and HBO didn't follow through with it. It seems they had creative differences, and the cost of a period piece scared them away. There is not one TV show / series currently airing who is close to this. CSI, Law and Order, etc. seem repetitive and boring to this. Kiefer would have done as well as 24, if not better.
Wow.
But he's right. To do a period piece, that costs a lot of money.
Sure.
It does.
To really nail it. And I feel like they did a pretty damn good job with it.
Yeah.
So let's take this in for a landing. How about that?
All right. And if you look out the window to your right,
Ladies and
Brian,
gentlemen, welcome
you'll
to
see
the
Tarmac John.
SCI Airport.
All right.
Local time
Give him a thumbs
is
up. He'll like that.
11.
Yeah, I'm doing it
The
now.
temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
So as we pull into FCF Network headquarters here, our airline, we want to say, now it's our turn. We told you everything you need to know about this pilot. Go watch it for yourself. Understand it. Take in all the interesting facts, the reviews.
The Bucks and Blondes.
Oh, take in all the Bucks and Blondes.
All the heroin.
Taking all the heroin. Let's look at our score. It's the classics, the Wings setup. We take the 7 main characters from the classic television show Wings. We assign each character a number 1 being the worst score, going to Roy Biggins, all the way up to number 7, a Brian Hackett, the best score you can get, and achieved by me on several occasions. But you know what those were? Look Well, Action Family. Well, there's another one, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's another one.
Oh, Heat, Vision, and Jack.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 aces. Anyway, Blake, no, I'm going to go for you first.
Okay.
I look to you, sir. What do you say? What do you rate L.A. Confidential?
There's a lot of Bucks and Blondes, and usually I get 1 point for a Bucks and Blonde,
knew
but
it.
there was so many of them, I can't give it like a 6 just for...
Did you use the pachinko machine to keep track of them?
Oh, no, I could do that with my head. Right. Again, yeah, we the stuff we've talked about so far, I didn't hate it. There was Bucks and Blondes. I'll give it a 6.
Give it a 6. Again,
Yes.
that elusive 6. Not
Yes.
quite perfect, but damn close.
Right.
Wow.
I still haven't given a 7.
You still haven't. You're really
40
holding-
episodes.
Really pinching the hose here. I feel like you're just going to unload on one of these, Brian.
If we ever do the Golden Girls pilot, I will give it a 7.
Brian, 1 out of 7. What do you score L.A. Confidential?
I'm gonna come in at a 5. Again, the pacing, I think it could have been. I realize it's trying to introduce a lot of characters. Trying to push the plot forward into maybe possible further episodes. Future episodes. It's kind of dizzy a little bit at times, but there was a lot of good stuff about it though. The acting, there was a lot of good performances. I agree with a lot of the reviews. It could have been something a lot better than what it ended up as.
And I think mine was probably a 5 with the 1 bump, Bucks and Blonde bump.
Yeah.
So
Right.
Which put you right square at a number 6, Helen Chapel.
Yep.
And your number 5 rating puts you at a low Mather. And honestly, I agree with you. I give it a 5 as well.
Wow.
I think this is a very good show. I wouldn't necessarily watch it again, but if it came out as a series, I'd probably watch the rest of it. I like period pieces like this. It's an interesting time. It's an interesting setting. You got great, capable actors like we talked about. And again, it's based off of a property that was good. I did enjoy the movie L.A. Confidential. If you guys ever saw that, with I think it was Russell Crowe and Guy Pearce and Spacey was in that.
Yep.
Great show, pretty darn good pilot. And with that, we close the book on L.A. Confidential forever, never to be mentioned again.
never.
But we're not done, not by a long shot. Please join us next time when we watch the pilot episode of The Robinsons. Here's a little something to wet your whistle. In the year 2082, Colonel John Robinson, his dysfunctional family, is one of the few families chosen to be part of a space program that is heading for a planet called Nova with a young military figure named Don West, only to find themselves lost in space.
Lost in space.
That's right. The Robinsons, of course, being the name of the family from Lost in Space, and this is a reboot of that. You can find the entire episode by subscribing to Couch Pilots in iTunes or your favorite podcast app of choice, and then click on one of our classically blue links in our show notes, or go to YouTube and search The Robinsons, Lost in Space. Now, if you want to contact us, that's a different story. Go to Twitter. Check out Couch Pilots Pod. Go to couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com if you have any suggestions or questions for us, comments. I've got hundreds I literally have hundreds of links here for future episodes. But if you have something that we don't, let us know.
Sure, let us know.
We'll move you to the front of the line.
And I'm always trying to make us available. Like these pilots are some of them are difficult to find.
Sure.
And I don't want people to say that 10 years down the road about our podcast. It was difficult. So, like I said, all the social medias we have, but something new that we've had for a few weeks that we've been trying, working on, is our YouTube page.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sometimes when we have good-looking people, we videotape it and we broadcast it so you can watch the whole episode. But also, what we're doing, we are uploading all the audio. Just the audio of the show will be on YouTube as well.
So we have two different links for each episode on YouTube, one audio and one visual in audio?
There's two playlists. There are two playlists. One is the audio version of it. So you'll just see the picture of our logo, and that's it, and you'll be able to listen to it. Or the high-tech HD, brought to you by minicam.com.
Minicam.
With split screens and all kinds of graphics and good stuff. So definitely check those out. If you would, please subscribe to our YouTube page. I'm having some issues getting the URL of Couch Pilots because we have to have 100 subscribers.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to find a backdoor on that. Haven't found it yet.
We'll get there. Wow.
Just do it, guys.
We can do it. With your help. Please spread the word. You know, honestly, we kind of joke about all this, but checking us out on all of our different social media outlets, and most specifically, physically telling someone. Brian, you obviously listen to the show enough to where you garner yourself damn near 1,000 points away from being on the flight itself until you wax the goddamn thing. But have you told other people about the show?
I have. I've shared on several occasions Blake's links on my Facebook page.
That totally helps us out. Yep. We appreciate it so much. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being on the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I speak for Blake, who is checking the, are you checking the smoke alarm?
Air conditioner.
Hey, it feels wonderful in here to me. And you look wonderful to me.
Thank you, you too.
Anything else you want to say to our frequent flyers before we sign off?
No, just tell your friends about the show. Follow us on Twitter, tweet us, and all that good stuff. Just be friends with us. Interact with us. We love hearing from Brian. It was amazing having you on. Yep. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
I apologize if Jason was offensive in any way, but it's one of the things like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
His good looks make up for
boy.
Yeah.
But it was good seeing you. We haven't seen each other in a long time. It was good seeing you.
Yep, thank you.
All right, but listeners, I love you very much.
Well, this pilot may have been rough, but it's always a smooth flight here on Couch Pilots. Thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.